and welcome back. So in the last video, we did a little experiment and we were able to control our LEDs over the WebSocket, and that looks really cool. In this video, we're going to make a few modifications to the code, and then we would try it out again on the Wokwi site. And after that, I think it'd be nice if we tried it out on an actual ESP32, right? So let's get ahead. Let's go ahead. Okay. So basically the last time we have this code as is, there's no changes yet. So I'm going to make some little modifications. One thing I think that's nice to have is some form of indication to show that our code is working when we load it up, so that we know there is, there's no break in the code. So we're going to try to put some notification, some form of notification on the ESP32. A good way to do that would be to use the pin 2, which is an LED pin on the ESP32, and we're going to use that as like a blinking LED while our application is running, so that we know that there's no break in the true loop and the while loop, the while true here, so that we can ensure that the code is working perfectly. So right here, we're going to go ahead and declare another LED, which is the flash LED. That's pin 2, right? We are also going to, we're going to put, we're going to go down here, while the LED, while our application is running, we want that LED to flash, right? So we're gonna do something here where we would say, hold on. So let's put the LED on, right? And then put it back off. So here, let's do this. Put the LED on. We'll make it sleep for 2 microseconds, right? Yeah. That's 200 milliseconds. I'm sorry. So let's put this here. That's 1/5 of a second. Yeah. We'll let it sleep and then it'll come back on. Right. So that looks good. Let's try this out and see. LED comes on. The blue LED here, pin 2 is flashing, and so we look good. So at least we can get a form of indication on our ESP32, which is this blue light right here, that our LED, our while loop is working, and that things are moving ahead, right? So another thing we want to do to just be safe is we want to put the DHT sensor, when it's measuring, we want that to be in a try and except phrase, so that in case there is a problem reading from the DHT sensor, we would want to ensure that we handle that properly. So after we put it on, let's take this off from here. And after we put it on, we would do a try except, right? And that should, so basically LED comes on, we read the sensor, we wait for 200 milliseconds, and then we go back off, right? I think that looks good. Let's just make sure that code is okay. So it looks like we're measuring, yep. So we're measuring humidity, and then let's see if we increase that, we're able to measure still, and we're good. One of the other things I noticed is sometimes when testing this is that, and I don't know if you noticed it also, is that sometimes when we publish data, or we send a command to the control topic, that a lamp should go off or on rather, and maybe we switch off the device and we switch back on the device. Sometimes that data is still hanging around for a while. So a quick fix that I just wanted to add to just remove that issue. And it might not be the best way for you to do it, but I just wanted us to do something quick that will make sure we don't have any issues with our code. So since we're already turning off the red and blue LED here, since we already turned those off, right? Let's just go ahead here and publish to the MQTT client to turn it off, right? That way that kind of clears out the cache there. So we're sure that, okay, we're sending it, basically what the device is saying is it's sending it to itself and saying turn off. And this is only going to happen once. So it's fine. There might be better ways for you to do that, but this will just help us reset the data that's in the MQTT broker, right? So there's probably a better way for you to do that. For now, I just wanted to rush this so that we can move ahead. All right. So, again, one of the other things that would be nice to have is we want to be able to get the status of our code. So basically, we want to be able to say, tell the tell the ESP32, give me your status, right? And then the ESP32 says, okay, here's my status. And, we move ahead from there. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go back to our control commands up here, and we're going to add another else if statement, right? If, and right here before the final return statement. And we're just going to add that. We should tell us, okay, get me your status. And now we have to return the status. And, very easy to return the status. We already have the methods already. So we have the MQTT client publish, right? So that it should be here. So the MQTT client publish, it just publishes the status, right? It publishes the data that we pass into it. And in this case, what we want to do, since we are saving the previous data, the old data in the telemetry data old, right? So we want to send the telemetry data old because that's our storage basically for our latest data after the new data has been published. All right, so we can go ahead and do that. So we're gonna get the global value for telemetry data old, and then we're going to publish that to the MQTT telemetry topic, right? So one last change that would be nice to have, and we've seen this also, is because, when all this data is published, and we don't know where data, when we had two devices, right? We didn't know which device is which because we're just getting data in the, from all the devices. And one nice way to go about this is we can publish the device ID. And, and the type of data would also be a nice thing to have, so that we can publish the device ID, because there are two types of data we are sending right now. We're sending the sensor data, which is this, right? And we're also sending the LED status data. So basically, what we're going to do here is we're going to add one more variables in each of this data for device ID, so that we can say, okay, this data belongs to this device, right? And the other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna tell it the type of data that's being sent, right? So this is coming from the sensor, right? So we're gonna say this data is coming from the sensor, and then we're gonna say this other data here is coming from the LED or the lamp, right? So this other data right here is coming from the LED or lamp, right? So we're gonna put that of type sensor and the other of type lamp. And those look like nice changes. I think those are all the changes I wanted to make. And now let's go ahead and run this. And LEDs on, and device is blinking. And just for test purposes, let us go back to the MQTT, the WebSocket, which is right here. All right, and we're gonna connect to our WebSocket. We're also gonna get our topic, which is the topic for the telemetry is IoT/telemetry, and we're gonna subscribe to that topic, right? Subscribe, and then now let's get our control topic right here, and let's just put it here for now while we wait to send our control. Okay. So basically, let's see what's going on. So let's stop and let's see if data comes in the beginning. Oh, sorry, I think we didn't save. Let me save this up first and then run this. So the data coming, yes. So you could see we have red LED is off, blue LED is off, the type is lamp, the device ID is WOKWI 001. And here we have the sensor information of type sensor for the humidity and temperature, and device ID is WOKWI 001, right? Now, if we decide to send a message, we could decide to send a message. So our message structure here says, okay, so if the lamp value changes like before, we're getting the new data, right? We did get the new data, the new sensor data, 42.754, that's that. And if this changes, 72.5 and 42, 72.5 and 42.7, which is good. Now, we want to send data to turn on the blue lamp. So copy that. We send a message here. The device ID is WOKWI 001. So let's do that right there. And now that when we publish that, the blue LED comes on and then off, and publish that, the blue LED comes off. That is cool, all right? So looks like everything's working like previously. And now, one other thing that I've gone ahead to do is I created a Android mobile application that we could use to test this application. So let's go ahead and load that up. I'll go ahead and start up my Android Studio, and this code will be provided. We already have everything set up. This code will be provided. It's just doing whatever we've done on the whatever we use in the broker to how we're setting the control. So basically, we'll be able to use this to send our control, and also be able to use it to visualize the data like you would do in a normal mobile app, right? So let's go ahead and run this. Let's start up our device. Okay. Here we go. Now that is good. Okay. So let's go ahead and then bring back our device, our Walkway 001, and we're gonna go ahead and kick that off, right? Same thing as we expect. Now the device starts up by flashing that LED and it sends the data. As you can see, we have received the data. We've seen the humidity value and the temperature value. Those have come on. That is 72.5 and 42.7. That's here, 72.5, 42.7. We're gonna go ahead and switch on the light bulb. When we click that, you can see the LED light bulb, the blue LED has come on, which our indicator, the way this is coded is we send the data. Once the data is received, when it sends back the status, then this bulb comes on and the button changes. And we turn this off. We can turn the red on. As you can see, the red is on right here. And we can turn the blue on also. Both are on. And, everything looks good, right? So, and then when we change the temperature value, we change the humidity. You can see the humidity came down to 42.5, increase our temperature to 57.3. It's up to 57.3. So basically, this is working like a normal IoT device should work. So that's looks really cool, right? Let's go ahead and turn this back off. That goes off, blue LED is off. Red LED is off and everything is going good. All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop this now. And what we're going to do at this point is we're going to load this up in our ESP32, right? So basically, what we want to do here is, let me open Turney. I'm gonna open Turney. Yeah, this is Turney right here. Sorry, just gonna close that. Open that back up. Now we're gonna copy our code that we are using already. We already have this code here, right? So let's copy all this code. I tell you, like, this simulator is pretty good because everything you could do here, you could do in a normal device, right? And we're gonna paste that up here, right, in 20. I'm just gonna go ahead and set my username and password for my Wi-Fi. So I'm gonna take this out of the screen to do that. Just give me a second. Let me do this. My Wi-Fi username and password. No. Okay, so I'm just gonna scroll that up so you don't have to see that, right? So I set my username and password. Let me connect my Tony. It's like my ESP32 so I can load it in. Right now you can see I don't have that connected. So I'm just gonna plug that in. Let's make sure that it's plugged in. Okay. Now we should have our device showing ESP32 in the serial port. And now let's go ahead and save this in the 20 in the ESP32. So I'm going to save it to the MicroPython device and I'm going to save it as main.py. Is that okay? Yeah. Yes. And now we're good at this point. Cool. So I'm going to share my camera and we're gonna load the ESP32 and we're gonna connect our circuit and we're just gonna make sure everything works. All right, so one of the things that I might have forgotten to mention earlier was when when I changed my password, and I cleared that, sorry, is that we have to give this ESP device, we gave it a different device ID, so it will be different from this device, right? We don't want them all having the same device ID. So make sure you set the device ID before you program your ESP32, right? And also set your username and password. I think those should be the only 3 variables that you would need to set to get this to work, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show my setup. So this is my setup right here. It's a little different than you would expect, right? So instead of using an LED, I'm actually using lamps, right? I'm actually using 2 lamps, a red lamp and a blue lamp. And again, you could use the LED. We already have the circuit of the LED, right? But I wanted to show that, this can be applied to real world situations, right? Not just lighting tiny LEDs. You could actually use it to light up real things. So basically I have the ESP32. Okay, looks like I still have this plugged in. Let me take that off quickly. Okay. So basically we have the ESP32 right here, and it's connected to 2 relays. So there's a relay that controls the red lamp, and there's another relay that controls the blue lamp. So 1 relay for red, 1 relay for blue. And then we have those pins that we set up. That would be pin 13 and pin 12, controlling those relays, right? So those would be the input that's expected for those relays. Now, here is the power cable for the lamps. Normally when you use relay, the power is separate from where the electronics go into. So, and then we have the DHT22 sensor right here, right? So that looks good, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and minimize this while I bring back up our Android application. Okay, so we're here at this point right now, and that's weird. Let me go back up. Sorry, I think we're in masterclass 1, right? Key 001. Sorry about that mix up. Let me just make this a full screen. So it's bigger. Okay, we want bigger is good. Right, bigger is better. Okay. So, when you download the mobile app code now, using the WebSocket, you can use the WebSocket for all of this. That's fine if you want to. But this is just better, right? So this already has all the device IDs that we're looking for. So, we want to select this device ID right here. All right, you know what? Let me go ahead because we see the temperature from the old one. It's just a quick code, not meant for production, really. So I'm just going to go ahead and restart this. So let's run this again in debug mode. Okay. All right, cool. So now we have everything reset to 0, right? So I'm gonna go here and select the ESP32 lamp, right? And now I'll go ahead and put on the ESP32. Okay. So again, our red and blue lamp come on, right? And they both go back off. And you could see that we have the temperature value. So it looks like the humidity in my current room is about 34.7%. And the temperature is about 21.5 degrees, right? And we are connected to this lamp. And now if we turn on the blue lamp, You can see that come on. We can turn it back off. We can turn on the red lamp. You can see that come on, and we can turn it back off. We could then turn on both the red and the blue, and both are on, and we can turn them off. One thing we could also do is let's run this one too. So let's run this. This comes on, publishes. You see, it doesn't really affect the data here because we're just reading the one for the lamp, right? So basically this one is saying 40 and 24.0, right? And it's going to the same MQTT variable, right? So, let me expand that back. And now we can switch to Woki 001. You can see the temperature value has now changed to 40 and 24, which is what we have here. So basically, when we switched, we did send a control variable to get us the status. That was one of the reasons why we put in that status request, right? So it requested for the status. What is your status when we switch to Woki 001? And it says, oh, my status is this. This is my humidity variable, my humidity and temperature data, which is my sensor data. And this is my lamp data, right? And it published it, and that's why we're able to receive it here. So now when we switch this on, blue LED comes on, switch red LED on, red LED comes on. And then we can now switch back to our ESP32 that's on the table, right? And you can see the variable there is 3421, which is different from what this has, right? Totally different from what that has. You can see this actually got the data, but it didn't respond. So you see data was received, topic was for lamp, ESP32 table lamp, but it didn't respond. But this one would have responded. And now when you switch that on, that comes on. Switch that on, that comes on. Switch this off, comes off. Switch this off, comes off. And now when we switch back here, maybe we can leave this on. Let's leave the blue light on here, right? And we could switch back to Woki 001. Both lamps are on, right? We got the status, right? So we requested the status. You see, it says topic, get me a status, Woki 001 status. And it said my temperature, my humidity is 40%. My temperature is 24. And both of my LEDs, my red LED is on and my blue LED is on. So these got triggered on. Now I can switch this off, right? The blue LED goes off, switch this off, red LED goes off. And now when I switch back to the lamp, I'm also requesting the status. It tells us, hey, my blue lamp is on and this is my humidity. This is my temperature. And so I can say, oh, okay, turn back the red lamp on. I want to turn off the blue lamp. And now I'll turn off the red lamp. So again, you can see the way this is now. This is just this is just an example of a simple, very, very simple IoT system that controls lamps and gets sensor data. In the next few videos, we are going to look at more complex systems, right? Hosting servers on the cloud and connecting to those systems, just like we had in the initial architecture diagram that we had proposed in the beginning. Something that is more robust, and we might also have a web page that we would use to control the data. So you can see the flexibility of what you can do with all of this. Very, very nice, right? And the applications are really the applications are really, really good, right? So you could apply it into a lot of things. So this is back to the ESP32. Switch that on, switch that on, switch that off, switch that off, right? So basically, I hope you enjoyed this class, right? I hope you enjoyed this. And I hope this is not too fast, but all the code's going to be provided. You'll get all the code. You can test it how you like. You could use lamps, real lamps, or you could use LED devices. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video, right? Basically, this is just, applications of how you could set up IoT systems to control things in the real world, and also, this Walkie tool is a good simulator for you to simulate your code first before actually putting it on the real device, like you've seen us do in this video. So basically, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you were able to learn, and as we progress in this course. Again, feel free to like, comment, and share these videos, and I'll definitely be seeing you in the next one. Thank you so much. Goodbye.